Hi, I'm Tiffany Carter, and we are here at Rodeo Austin 2015, and I'm with Mr. Dan Hoge of Walnut, Illinois, who is evaluating our Junior Market Steer Show here this year. Mr. Hoge, thank you so much for being here. We are so proud to have you back with us here at Rodeo Austin.
Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I was here a year ago, and the hospitality and the quality of youth is just unmeasured, really. And we've had a great cattle show again this year, and looking forward to culminating it this evening at Rodeo Austin at, I think, approximately 7 o'clock.
So, you are a legend in the world of the livestock judging arena, surely the most well-known and most respected livestock evaluator, one of all times. What is it that motivates you and keeps you enthusiastic and excited to keep participating in these stock shows year after year?
That's a great question, and I think Deanna, my wife, and I have many years have talked about it. It's interesting. It's a passion that I was almost, I think, sometimes born with. And my father was very active in livestock showing and livestock judging, but primarily in the Duroc swine industry. And I followed him around, and I was just given as almost a gift, I believe. If you talk about gifts and genetic imprinting or whatever you want to call it, as we talk about livestock, that I was born to do this. And it was interesting when I realized in life that I was going to be involved in education and beyond, and then just using that education as a basis for the livestock judging. And what's kept me going is simply the love of youth and the love of evaluating livestock. And I say this so often, one never knows as a show judge what's going to walk through that gate. And whether it be a hog show, a cattle show, or any other species, it's that what's coming and what's going to be next, and will that next great one come in? And when that next great one does come in, it's a feeling that only we that judge really understand that, and that's when you know it's good to be here on that day and do that. And we had a very emotional situation today that was very important to me because we do have a special needs daughter, and that showed livestock all through her 4-H days, and a young man from Blinn College was helping a youth in the ring that really needed assistance today. And to watch the two interact and to watch the young man help that youth show his steer, it's really what this is all about. Everyone wants to know about who won the stock show and who won and who was grand champion. But I think many times we forget it's about the youth, that what they learn about this human life skills that really make the difference.
Absolutely. So now you've been back to judge livestock here a handful of times at Rodeo Austin, including you were the first judge to evaluate cattle here when Rodeo Austin went to becoming a statewide show open to all youth exhibitors throughout the state of Texas. What are your thoughts on Rodeo Austin after being back here over the years?
That's a really wonderful question, because I am honored to have been the very first ever to judge, and then of course it was called the Star of Texas, and the history of this show alone, from starting from Travis County Fair and then just continuing to build as we have, and to come back here, and particularly at my age, the last 2 years has been an honor. I expressed on the microphone this afternoon that is untold unless you're someone such as myself that has been doing this for so many years, and the excitement, the adrenaline, and that it's hard to explain, and Rodeo Austin has developed into one of the class events in the state of Texas and nationwide, and their youth leadership from the standpoint of Sigil Foster and from Bucky Lamb on down, and I know them all and know them all very well, and have watched many of them kind of grow up, so to speak, and it's great to see these youth really develop into the agricultural leaders they are. And what's interesting too to me and so fulfilling is the fact that they all started showing livestock in 4-H and FFA, and that basis alone has developed more leaders within agriculture than one would ever begin to imagine.
And something that's interesting about you is you're able to evaluate pretty much all species of livestock at any level of competition, and your son Mark also now does that. What is that like for you to have your son following in your footsteps?
It is almost unbelievable and very difficult to explain. We have such a relationship, and he is very tall, and I'm not that tall, and so it's an odd combination when we're out there in the ring together, and I look up at him, and he looks down at me. But our respect for one another and our opinions and what we see in different livestock. It is really unique. It's hard to explain until you're out there, and one says to the other, "What do you think, Dad?" And then I say to him, "I don't know, Mark. This year we did the National Shorthorn Show in Louisville, Kentucky together, and he was the lead judge and I was the associate. And I'm enjoying the fact now that he used to be Dan Hoge's son. Now I'm Mark Hoge's dad. And so it's really good. It's been a wonderful evolution. And, and I told him when he asked me, "What do you think?" I said, "It's your show, and let's just go ahead and do it." And so, it's one of those life experiences that when they're growing up, you don't, you always wonder, you always think, that the seeds are planted that he may do this someday, but it wasn't anything was ever forced upon him. And I'm sure if you would ask him today if he thought he was going to be teaching at a university, he probably would have said probably not. And he is. So it's been an incredible evolution, and his family, his two boys and wife, are really enjoying the youth opportunities in showing livestock, and so I think they'll be very active for years to come, and it's been a wonderful experience.
And you've obviously been around countless, youth through both livestock show arenas and as well the classroom. What is the one piece of advice that you would pass on to young people as they're progressing into their adulthood?
One word: patience. It's interesting that if I were to just categorize young people today, with all of the technology they have at their availability, I don't think they're really understand how patient you have to be to accomplish some of your life goals. And I remind them that we have all started at what we would call in the northern part of our country, whether it be what we call street shows or just local shows. And I tell the story that one of the first shows many of our graduates our students have judged, and I was even part of it too, is a very small show in a very small town called Alexis, Illinois, which means nothing to anyone, but it's a local show, and the speaker is the actual PA system on the local fire engine. And so we actually, and it's something that's been a kind of a tradition. And you have to start somewhere, and you have to be patient. And the other only piece of advice I would give is, they have to do it right from the very beginning. And I mean how they conduct themselves in the ring, how they treat young people, and everyone likes to look at and talk about champions, but not everyone can be a champion. And how they critique and say something positive. For example, today, in the last 2 days in our show, to every youth that I handled their steer, I said thank you. They didn't really know what I meant by thank you, but I explained to them, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to evaluate your cattle." And it was what happens in the ring with some of us, with the exhibitors, it is far more than people on the outside ever realize. And we're connecting and we're teaching, just communicating, being comfortable, and making a positive experience. I could talk forever, as you know, so, on that.
So, with all of the, different shows, classroom experiences, judging contests and whatnot you've been involved with throughout your life, what would be the most memorable experience or fondest memory that you have that you always kind of revert back to and remember?
From a personal standpoint and within the family, it would be the first time that Mark and I judged a major stock show, and it was here in Texas, and it was at San Antonio a number of years ago. And he was relatively young as we were entered the ring, and my father had been gone a number of years, and his grandfather on Deanna's side, was not in the best of health and was getting up in years. And I'll never forget saying to the audience, "I know one thing. There's two grandparents that would be very proud this afternoon," and that was especially. The other really amazing moment was when Mark and I judged Houston together, and I never know when I start what I'm going to end up saying to culminate a show, and in that we had begged Deanna to come with us, and she's been an incredible supporter all of these years, but she chooses to let us do our thing, and we know she's at home supporting us well. That particular evening before the Grand Barrel, I simply seized upon the opportunity to talk about a cornerstone. in everyone's family there seems to be a cornerstone, and and in anything we do, there's that person or that item that is so important to the development of a program. And so I looked around the room, and I looked around the area there, the show ring, and I said, I can see a lot of cornerstones in the audience. And so I said on the mic, Deanna, this one's for you.
Well, Mr. Hoge, thank you so much for being here with us. We are so honored to have you back here judging, and we are looking forward to you picking our grand champion steer for Rodeo Austin 2015 out on the arena floor tonight during our rodeo performance.
I too am excited, and it's going to be interesting here as we do the preliminaries here momentarily, how the cattle all look when they come back, because in their individual divisions it's one thing, but they have to come back and look like a champion, and stand the test of just the duration of the show, and to be on the arena floor here this evening at the rodeo is something that I describe to the students in the classroom, and I just say, you just don't understand till you're there. And it's a feeling that you knew you were supposed to be here. It's incredible.
Well, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to that. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dan Hoge.
Thank you.